Here with head coach Vince Brown ahead of Saturday's matchup against Louisburg for homecoming 2024. Coach, before we get into the Hurricanes, let's talk a little bit about last week against Thaddeus Stevens. A good bounce back for your team, especially on the defensive side. Just talk about what you guys saw on the film in the hours after the game.
Walker, always a pleasure to be here with you. Great bounce back game for our guys. Something that we needed. We had to get back to doing the things that we do well, and that's playing discipline, effort football, right? Knowing our assignments, capitalizing on the plays. I felt like our offense and defensive staffs put together some great plans, and so we were able to go out there and capitalize, but we really stepped up on that special teams end, and I was so impressed with those guys. And each one of those guys took it upon themselves to step their level of play up, and that's what we need because we have dynamic returners, we have a great kicker, and so I was pleased overall with our effort and with our game.
Your head coach's player of the game was Wilberto Sanchez. I think he ended up with 5.5 tackles, a tackle and a half behind the line of scrimmage. Just talk about what he brought to that linebacking core on Saturday that kind of allowed your team to really be in the backfield against the Bulldogs quarterbacks all day.
I think from day one, when Roberto Sanchez decided that he wanted to come and play football this year, and from camp going forward in the weight room, he's been a leader. He's been a guy that you can count on, that we know who is going to study, is going to do the little things that he needs to do to prepare himself and his team for a victory. So he's been that type of guy. He was back this week. Last week he was back, and he was excited. I know it hurt him that he couldn't play in the Washington League game, and it showed where we were kind of young in that area where we would have had some of that leadership that he brings. But coming back, man, I told him to go out there and play lights out. He had one hand and still was dominating, and so I just told him, hey man, go out there each week, do everything you've been coached to do. You're ready for the moment. And then he went out there and he showed us why he's a really good linebacker.
So, Coach, let's flip the script to Louisburg. The Hurricanes coming in 3-1, played Georgia Warhawks, Sussex County Community College, a team you guys played a couple of years ago and had some very big results, a lot of offense and a lot of points on the board. Just talk about what you've seen from the Hurricanes on film as you've started to make your preparations for Saturday.
Well, very familiar with Coach Q and the Louisburg Hurricanes, right? So he's finally getting that team up under his arms like he needed. He's going into his third or fourth season there, and I'm also familiar with the offensive coordinator, being that we have some history together as well, coaching on the same squad. So I know he's going to have those guys prepared. They're going to be ready to go. They're traveling up. But like we knew a couple years ago, it was a great environment, great game. We had a huge crowd. So I'm expecting the same thing. Our guys have been locked in, ready to go. Like you said, we bounced back. And now I think our guys are settling into understanding everything that we expect of them throughout the week, from studying, from preparation, from taking care of your body. And so our guys have now been picking it up. And so I'm looking forward to a great contest.
You mentioned the last time these two teams played a couple of years ago, 40-37, came down to special teams and a game-winning field goal for your team on this very field. Just talk about how important special teams is going to be in a game where it could come down to the last play.
Well, that's been a level of emphasis this whole entire week, right? Because we watched them on film, and they like the opponents that we did get to watch. They took advantage of special teams, so they blocked a couple punts, they blocked a field goal. Their kickoff team will cover, and they will secure good tackles. So we have to be able to flip the field position as well as be dominant in the areas we need to be dominant at. Doing your job on punt, securing your guy, and then covering, so we can make sure that we're not giving up any costly turnovers and giving them opportunities for success.
We always talk about your three keys being, making sure that you're doing your job and hustling to the football and all that. But if you take a look at where your team's at through 3 games and where you want to go over the next 3 before the bye week, what do you want to see from your team going into that second half of the season?
Well, we want to continue to build upon the little things, right? Tackling is number one when it comes to our defensive unit, and then just making your plays on the offensive side of the ball. No costly penalties, right? Not turning the ball over. So we are alleviating the mental errors, right? When you're tired and it's third quarter and we need a yard or two and we got our guy jumping off sides. or false starts. We don't want any of that, right? So we went back to the basics of that. So I know Coach Elton Brown has been doing an amazing job with that line, with the guys that he has, right? And we had to fill in some places here and there. But overall, continue to do the things that you've been taught to do. Go out here and play the game smart, disciplined, fast, tough, and then finish.
Last one, homecoming this week. Big crowd expected, a lot of stuff going on with the tailgate, bounce houses, the whole nine. What do you want to see from Builder Nation on Saturday as your guys look to go 1-0 this week and get their second straight at home?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. We've been having great turnouts. Builder Nation has been showing up, true Builder backers. Everybody has been here, the alumni. You see former players on the sideline. That's what we want. I want the community to come out, get behind these Builders, and let's go for the victory.
Coach, best of luck on Saturday. Looking forward to watching your team play, and we'll talk to you after the game.
Thank you, Walker.